What is good, Counter-Strike fans? Welcome back to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. We are in Stage 3 now of IEM Cologne. Apologies for no video for Stage 1 or even an update or post for Stage 2. Been busy, but now we're back. We're going to be talking about Stage 3. So let's take a look back at how we done in Stage 1. So for Stage 1, we actually got 5 correct. So I made a post about this, but decided to go with 3-0 Bet Boom, who were right. I went 0-3 Gaming Gladiators. And then, fortunately, we got MIBR Big and M80 to go through as well. And then for our fantasy, we decided to double up on Bet Boom, who did really strong. They went 3-0. MIBR, who also went through, and Asani carried. And then from FlyQuest, Story did quite strong as well. Top 1%, almost top 30. And yeah, it was a very strong performance there. For Stage 2, I didn't post this, but decided to go 3-0 with Spirit, who was correct, and G2, who did advance. 0-3 with Tai Lu. And then FlyQuest, FlyQuest, who did go on 3. And then we had Legacy, Bait, and Bet Boom. I believe Food went through 3-0 as well. So we did get 5 correct as well. And then for fantasy, we decided to go with double G2, double Food, and then Bet Boom. Boomage from Bet Boom. It wasn't great because Spirit and Donk were going crazy, I believe. Yeah, they got... Donk was... Look at this, this is insane. That was his value at last stage. It was crazy. So yeah, they were the best value by far and away. But yeah, now we can look at the Stage 3. So Stage 3 opening matchups: Vitality versus Food, Navi versus Spirit, Falcons versus G2, Mongols versus Bet Boom, Paravision versus 9C, Aurora versus Monty, Furia versus Bait, and then Mouse versus Legacy. Honestly, some of the top teams have some tough matchups. So like Vitality against Food, Navi versus Spirit, Falcons versus G2. So interesting matchups there to see. It's gonna be interesting for the 3-0 picks. So here's a couple picks that some of the most popular like people in the community have chosen. You can see a lot of Vitality and a lot of Spirit for 3-0 with a couple like Food or even Falcons or even a random Bet Boom in there. For 0-3, we have a lot of Monty, which is fair. I don't know how they got through, but they did. And then a couple Baits, a couple Paravisions who've been in poor form ever since, some Mouse, 9C, Aurora in there as well. Very strong Navi, 3-1, very strong Furia, Falcons. Food is also very strong as well. And then you have a mixture of Mouse, G2, Aurora, Mongols, even some 9Cs and Legacies, and even a couple Bet Booms as well. So it's going to be interesting. For my picks, so I'm still chasing the Diamond Coin at this stage. I think a 3-0 pick has to be Vitality. Their last 2 events weren't great, but they did say that they were not practicing at all. An update that just dropped with the op as well. So no practice, and they were just basically just playing with the current abilities that they had, and they still made it pretty far on both events. And now they got their rest. They're able to boot camp, practice. I think they'll come back strong as well. For my, I think, favorite 0-3 pick has to be Monty. They're just not that great. Yeah, and they have tough matchups to begin with anyways. So 0-3 Monty, those are going to be the popular picks, and they are. For my 3-0, I'm thinking Spirit, I'm taking Falcons. Possibly someone like Aurora as well. I do like Aurora's run to a 3-0 win. I know that Spirit and Falcons will face one another either on their way to on the 2-0 game or even the 1-0 game. Falcons have been beating Spirit recently, but Spirit looks so strong in this event without a coach. Is that no coach uh, boost basically? I think you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Spirit. I'm gonna go Spirit 3-0, and then for my other 0-3 pick, I could see Aurora going 3-0, or I could see them going 0-3. Like this Aurora team is, I don't know what they're doing. I think I would lean more towards them going 3-0 than 0-3, so I'm gonna keep it there. I think their first matchup is strong enough for them to win. Who else is a poor matchup? I guess Bait. I believe they're gonna be playing. Bait's gonna be playing Furia. Okay, so that's good. This one could go 50-50, honestly. Yeah, it might have to be Bait. Even though I don't want to, it might have to be Bait just because their first matchup is less of a 50-50, and I think Furia should win that. But it's Furia, and they always, lose their first game or something, or kind of underperform when they should be performing in this stage. For 3-1 advancement, I think Falcons advances, Navi advances. I'm gonna say Foot advances as well. Furia. These four are strong. They've shown they can play at this stage, especially Food. They should be a tier 1 team, especially how they perform against some of the better teams, how they perform against worse opposition. They're super consistent in that regard. And then for my final 2 spots, I'm thinking G2. I'm thinking Aurora because they have a pretty easy run to 2-0, but then they could end up losing all 3 games back to back to back. Mongols because it's Mongols. Beboom because they shoot hard. Legacy because it's Brazilian, and I don't know why. Legacy is sometimes that type of team that can perform out of nowhere. I don't want to put 9C. I don't want to put Paravision in my opinion. I think they've been struggling a lot recently. I think teams have figured James' system out. And I don't want to put Mouse because they're basically a dead team in this event. I'm going to go with Mongols as 1. I'm going to go with G2. I think I like this. Yeah, Mongols and G2. I'm going to go with them 2 making it to the next stage. I could see Bet Boom making it. I could see Aurora because they have a strong start to the event. And their series makes it so they get a lot of interesting, easy matchups. And Legacy because it's Legacy. But yeah, Mouse, Paravision, and 9C were never in contention for me. So I can go with this. Gonna click save. And that will be my Pickems. Now we can take a look at the most picked players for this event. So 19,000 people have joined, just making sure that this game does deliver 50% more season points. So this still anyone's game. And if you haven't joined, make sure to join my league. The invite link will be in the description down below. The winner will get a Steam gift card. One Dane is currently on top 241, and it's still kind of close between the top 4. One Day has previously won, I think, HLTV Fantasy, so if you're interested in trying to beat One Day or you're very close, make sure to join the league and see if you can. But yeah, most big players now. Again, like I mentioned, 19,000 have joined. Donk is currently the most picked player with, I would say, 7,000 people picking him. You see Tanier as well, and Santix from Spirit. Apex is the next most popular player. Boomage, a lot of IGLs, Apex, Boomage, Kerrigan, and Alexi B. So they're trying to fit in that Donk in there, as well as Demon. And something that I will say before we look at the pricing is that this event the pricing is very lenient. So you can build basically any type of team you want. I would say. So yeah, let's start off with Vitality. Like I mentioned, I think they should go 3-0, and they have the easiest run to 3-0 in my opinion. That Food game initially is gonna be tough for them, but if we know that Vitality and the level that they have, they should have just enough quality wise to beat Food, who's been, have already warmed up to the event, but I think Vitality is just that much better. Um, Honestly, all 5 players are interesting. I say Saiwu's obviously the best one just because he can carry at 245, but I don't mind a Flamesy as well at 222 over Robs. So Saiwu and Flamesy you kind of want, and if you want to double up on them, I think Apex is probably the better one over Messi. Messi just doesn't perform at all this year, rating wise, for him to push um, to a 209 pricing, basically to be good value at that price. But if they go 3-0, they're gonna be padding their way through the group stage or stage 3. For Navi, um, it has to be Makase at 220 in my opinion. He's just been far and away the best one. After that, I would go with someone like Wonderful, who's picked up a lot of his form recently. Um, would ignore Bid, would ignore Ime. I don't mind Alexi B at 186 either. But Navi, they should get through, probably 3-1 fashion. Maybe might push it to 3-2 as well. For Spirit, it's Donk again. You have to go with Donk. He is going to farm. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to put up good ratings. The Falcons game could lower his rating for the stage, but he should still do quite strong at 245. I don't mind Shiro either at 215, but he just hasn't hit those ratings that he usually has. So he needs to average about like a 120 to match kind of Donk's output at 245, but he hasn't done so recently. But Tanir at 203 is good value pick right there. He has definitely stepped it up a lot now that they kind of changed the system a little bit. So Tanir at 203 is very strong. I would ignore Magix at 186 and I would ignore Sontex at 184, but if you want to go with like a Sontex and Donk, I wouldn't blame you either. Because Spirit have a good chance to go 3-0. It really depends against that Falcons game. For Falcons, it's going to be interesting. I think Kyosuke at 219 is strong, especially because it's a stage game. He likes to farm these type of games, but it is against tougher positions, so I'm not sure how he'll do there. Monesi is always strong as well at 230. Would ignore Tesla at 201. Nico at 209. He's been kinda middling a little bit. I don't think he still feels comfortable with Kyosuke, but I think he performed a little bit better now with Kerrigan. Kind of like going in first, and allows Kyosuke to like basically trade Kerrigan away. Kerrigan at 179, sure if you want to go there, but you know you're gonna get a 0.85, 0.82 rating out of him. For Furia, they should go through. They have the players and the quality to do so. It's just the consistency with them sometimes. Finally, we get Yuri under 200,000 after underperforming basically for the whole year. I actually quite like him at this price, especially with the upside over someone like Fallen. Jakindar's in a weird spot at 203. He's not bad, but he's not great. And then Kisara and Molodoi. Kisara is more the consistent farmer, but Molodoi has the higher upside. So it's up to you if you want to go with someone like Furia. For Aurora, the pricing's okay. It's not the best, but Aurora have some games. I've done the simulator a couple times, and Aurora sometimes gets through the 2-0 game. Obviously, they have to face someone like Vitality, for example, or Spirit along the way in a 2-0 game, which is, they probably won't win, but they have a good chance of going 3-0. But they also have a good chance of going 0-3. Like I've done a bunch of simulations, and Aurora's a very interesting one. I don't mind Waxika 203. That's pretty strong. Soulfly at 9187 I skip on. And then Wakita is higher now than Centaurus. And it's fair because Wakita has been more consistent as of recent. But if Aurora wants to get through, it's because Centaurus and Waxic pop off. So you want to kind of go with those two. For Mouse, here I don't think I'll go with any of them. I just don't feel comfortable again. I mean, they're now missing Jim Hat for Celex. It's still the same team, and they have a good chance of making it. But I don't know. There's just something that is telling me that this is the team. guess it's the Surgeon call again. I guess Surgeon is calling now. So does that with Brolin back, does Brolin start calling? I guess not. So does Brolin kind of get freed up in his roles a little bit without the IGL and performs a little bit better and not being part of the team anymore? Yes, interesting. So we'll have to see with Mouse. But I'll skip on them for this stage. Legacy, they have a chance of making it. I don't have them currently, but players like Nissim and Satsin are strong for that price at 180, A4 and 188 respectively. I also like Dumao and Lotto at those prices too. But I don't know about Legacy. They are an underdog for sure, but I don't feel comfortable going with them. For Mongols, I like Mongols to go make it to the next stage, but the pricing is a little bit weird. I mean, 910 is 210. It's a little bit much for someone like 910. I don't mind like Cobra Sarah 195 or Blitz and Techno at the 185 and 84 stage, but I'd probably skip on them as well, especially because the pricing for the top teams is kind of reasonable too. Paravision, they could do it, but man, they've been struggling a lot. Like Bolchanox, Cielo, and Nota are just not ready for tier 1, or at least have not shown the same consistency that they did at the start of the year. Jamin's Way, you know, you're going to get solid output from them. These three are the ones that kind of have to step it up a lot. For G2, they struggled a bit in stage 2, but they were able to get through. Nerds has somehow been their best player so far. I guess now that Matty has kind of changed some roles around for Nerds, and Nerds is getting a lot of the high ratings out of it. So Nerds is a good option there. Heavy Gods is still doing solid, but again, Nerds is a better option. And I'd rather go with Hunter and Sampayas as a double up with him. Sampayas has been a lot better. Now maybe he's adjusting to the update. And then Hunter 181 is actually pretty good belly. He's been putting up over a 1 rating, so definitely look into Hunter as well. Another team that has good value is Foot. They've been amazing. I mean, they have been amazing the whole year. Have gotten some close series against some of the top teams, even beating some very strong top teams too. Even with a coach Denon, like this is crazy. Like, Foot are basically, I would say, the only team that could challenge someone like Vitality, because we have seen many teams try and not many succeed, and Food is one team that we haven't seen them face Vitality in the playoffs yet. So rooting for these Food guys. Value wise, I think Demon's popped off last stage and he's been a lot better. He has a great headshot machine, trigger rate, so definitely look into him. Craveni at 188 was their best player last stage, so that's interesting as well. Longs and Shugs, I mean, especially the Longs kind of struggling. Shugs is still doing quite strong. I don't mind that there, but I'd rather have to go like Craveni or Demon. And Symmetry, if you want to save some money, is not bad as an offer. He's still not ready for tier 1. I think he's still the weakest out of the core of Food, but 182 is not bad. For Bait, they're probably going 0-3, but we've seen better performance from Sissy, so I'm interested to see how he does here. Otherwise, he'd probably skip on them, but they're not bad pricing either. Bet Boom, this could be a team that could surprise us and go from, stage 1 all the way to the playoffs, just because the team has so much firepower. Flamus, Magnages, Dilides are insane, and Boomich just kind of has to like dictate them to go in and kill them. Yeah, definitely look into Dilides and Flamus at that price. Magicus is a little bit much for Bet Boom, in my opinion. Or even Boomich at 172 is solid. He's been putting up he had a good stage 1. Stage 2 he struggled, but he's at that price is super cheap. 9C, I don't see them making it to next stage, but you have players like Huaso Peak, DGT, and Lucha that are basically carrying them. Max and Major are kind of just doing there. And then finally Monty, I don't know how they got to this stage, but they're here, so good luck to them. So for my team, This is what I'm gonna go with. It's pretty safe and it's kind of template E. Kreveni and Demon from Food, Donk and Tinier from Spirit, and then Boomage from Boom. I went with this team because I believe highly in Spirit and I believe highly in Food, and then Boomage was kind of like a last resort kind of cheap option. The other team I'm looking into is maybe someone like Symmetry and then Hunter. So something like this gives me someone from G2, so it's better than Boom Edge Hunter, but Symmetry is a lot worse than Demon, so I'm just gonna keep it as is with Demon. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's probably like one of the most popular teams right now, so what I'm hoping is for Food not to get destroyed by Vitality, Boom to spoil Mongols somehow, and then Spirit to keep up the run without a coach. But yeah, this is gonna be my team, and you saw my Pickems. Again, make sure to join the link in the description down below for the league. Winner will get a Steam gift card at the end of the season. And I believe as well, make sure to join the Discord community, the HLTV Fantasy Discord community. They do great work over there. They do a lot of price leagues and stuff, and they always talk good Counter-Strike. So yeah, that's it for me, I guess. Just wanted to give a quick video of what's going on, and yeah, we'll see you for the playoffs in the last event of the season. Yeah, enjoy some great Counter-Strike. Good luck, have fun, and see you for next time.